the policies or likely policies of the Trump administration is quite well known. It is more about US first. It is more about, more tariff, etc. So I don't think the markets will be too surprised with that. And surprisingly, as I was seeing on the screen, I mean, actually the Hong Kong and the China market are fairly resilient in that phase of the, rhetoric. Now, we'll have to see how the policies evolve over a period of time. It is going to be more about tariff across the board, or it is just going to be about tariff only on goods from China. That will make a lot of difference on the competitiveness of each of the country and all, and whether, I mean, after that, from a market and from a stock selection perspective, it will all boil down to which companies have the pricing power to pass on those tariffs. And my sense is that eventually, the differentiation will start to happen. But what is more worrisome is the increasing sanctions and increasing restrictions on the tech supply chain, because that is far more integrated compared to the other supply chains, and it is going to be extremely difficult to untangle those tech supply chains. So and that's also one area which has done extremely well over the last 12 months.
So I find that very surprising, because aren't they cognizant of the fact that they cannot just decouple from a TSMC, from Taiwanese chip makers, from South Korean chip makers, at a time when Biden has already signed contracts and these companies are already investing money in setting up factories in the US. So do you think that this is just rhetoric far away from the reality, and when they get into the office, then things would be a whole lot different?
Yeah, I mean, campaigning is always much more rhetorical than the reality, and in reality, even in the prior administrations, we have seen that the actual actions are not close to the rhetoric. So obviously, some of this large semiconductor companies which you mentioned, they have absolute monopoly in the advanced node of semiconductor manufacturing. So it will be very difficult for United States to kind of decouple from that. But I think if you look at the broader direction, it is more about advanced node semiconductor manufacturing localization, and more of the mature node semiconductor manufacturing can continue to happen outside of United States. That's where the national security concerns come much more when it comes to the advanced node manufacturing. What is interesting is that it can also help countries like India, which is trying to get into that semiconductor value chain because of all the PLI and the other initiatives which India has been talking about. So there could also be beneficiaries of some of these changes.
But how much help would it be for India? Would it be on the margin or significant?
Yeah, India is an interesting opportunity. I mean, India obviously has very little say today in the entire semiconductor value chain, and it's just taking baby steps in getting involved in that. My sense is that as it has happened in the other parts of the world, first you will start with more of the component value chain. Then you will start with some of the more labor-intensive parts of the semiconductor value chain. And then over a period of time, you will get more into the advanced node and the kind of more advanced technologies of the foundries and all that. So I think India has all its, India has a large market on its own. India is placed very favorably geopolitically as well. India maintains good relationship with most of the world economies. And India can be, India can take up the slack, and India can kind of benefit from the realignment of the supply chains. Semiconductor per se is going to be more long-drawn affair for India, but overall we are quite positive on the supply chain diversification and what India can benefit from that.